Hello, welcome to episode 227 of the Epic Film Challenge 2, 1,001 Movies You Must See Before You Die from 1987, 30 years ago, Project A Part 2. And I think this is probably, it must be surely, the only sequel in the book, 1,001 Movies You Must See Before You Die, that doesn't also include the original. I know Godfather 1 and 2's in there, I know Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, we talked about the Lord of the Rings trilogy, etc. So, Part 2, we haven't seen Project A Part 1, or just the original, whatever you want to call it.
They did show a little recap before the movie started, though.
They did. They opened with a music video of all the greatest hits of the first film, and I thought, I want to see that film. And I know that that's...
Greatest hits.
Yeah, greatest hits. I know that that was the film where Jackie Chan, and it is a Jackie Chan film, by the way, where he did the hang off the clock stunt and fell through the awnings, which I've seen clips of. And Jackie Chan, I'm a big fan of. I haven't seen that many of his films, like a handful here or there. Legend of the Drunken Master, the original Drunken Master, Police Story, you know, the Rush Hour movies, Around the World in 80 Days is a favourite of mine. But this seems to be one of his more classic martial arts movies. And he definitely seems like, to me, the successor to Buster Keaton in the sense of this great comedy action star who also he directed this film as well, and can put together these amazing sequences of slapstick comedy, but also do these incredible stunts that make you laugh and also just, you know, gape in awe.
Yeah.
Basically what Buster Keaton's movies do, they make me laugh and they make me go, holy shit.
I can't believe he did that.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he does here. I read that there were a few bits where there were stunt doubles in this film, but he does the majority of the stuff himself, and you'll see a shot where he literally flies down this set of stairs, his body is smacking down, and then he hits the floor and he's in close-up, and you see that it's him.
Yeah.
And that's really the main sell here. I mean, the story, you know, he's this guy who came from the Navy, I think, and then he has to take over this section of town as a police officer. There's corruption everywhere. There's these pirates who I'm assuming are carried over from the first film who are out to get him. There are, you know, this corrupt police officer who's one of the central bad guys. The cops that he has working underneath him, you know, just scumbags too. There's all these different people, all these different characters. The plot doesn't really matter that much. And I feel like in these films, it's all about the action. I like the plot, it served the story, but I was
Good guy, bad guy kind of thing.
Yeah, good guy, bad guy, you know, good cop, bad cop, literally.
Literally.
And, you know, for these films, you know, it would almost be greedy to ask for a really well done plot, you know. It's just all about these amazing fight sequences, which aren't just the people falling in these spectacular, you know, fashions, but also just the hand-to-hand combat. You know, it's so fast. And Jackie Chan is just, I think he's the greatest martial arts star ever.
I just think it's the creativity of it all.
The creativity is so key.
He can use anything. Like, what he can do with a chair amazes me.
Simple.
And, like, there's this scene in a house, at some lady's house, and these guys are hiding, and it's just so funny. I just love that scene so much. Like, they're trying to hide, and then it gets weird. It's just funny. I
think that's the best sequence of the film purely because it doesn't have all that fighting, but it's so well done, and I was so gripped, and it was hilarious. It's a really funny film, you know, and I'm sure some of the jokes got lost in translation with the Chinese and stuff, and the subtitles we had weren't the best. But that sequence that you mentioned is apparently inspired by a Marx Brothers movie, Night at the Opera, which I haven't seen. I think that's in the book too, where everyone's crammed into one space, and it is so funny how all these people end up in this woman's house, and they're all trying to avoid each other. It's just so funny, so well done. But again, the fight sequences. There's a couple of key action set pieces with all this hand-to-hand combat. There's a scene where a guy falls off a balcony. It must be 10, 12 feet tall, and lands on the back of his neck. It's unbelievable. It's a 12-foot neck bump on just the ground.
His land kind of falls off. His fall kind of breaks off onto something.
It's like his big vase.
But
he's still there's no break in the film.
Right on his neck.
And you got to wonder whether that was a mistake that was just left in the film.
And you get to see it in slow motion too.
Yes.
A lot of the stuff.
And with most of Jackie Chan's, you know, classic films, the credits feature outtakes, you know, which is great because, you know, this isn't high art. You know, you're not trying to protect anything in terms of the, you know, the story in the film, you know, and he'll run all those outtakes, people getting hit in the face, and him kind of guiding some of the female actresses through some of the stunts that they got to do.
That's one of my favorite things about Jackie Chan movies. He always does that.
Yeah.
I love the movie, But then it's like, oh, here's the tree in the end.
Yeah.
Like, I just love watching that.
Yeah, it's fun to watch, and he knows that. He understands that, and so he includes that for...
You can count on him.
Yeah, for that extra entertainment. And he does a great homage to Buster Keaton in the film with a big kind of... a big scaffolding display that falls down, and he's standing in the spot where the window is, which is the great Buster Keaton stunt in Steamboat's Bill Jr.
It was, yeah.
I get confused because the first Mickey Mouse cartoon was Steamboat Willie, which was, I think, after the Buster Keaton film. But yeah, so I should know that as a... I
understand why it was in the book.
Yeah. Oh, this film?
Yeah.
Yeah, so is it a film you should see before you die?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I was really surprised. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, really just it's a lot of fun. I think if it was just the action scenes and the comedy wasn't there, maybe not so much, but it's really funny, and it works. The action works hand in hand with the comedy. And yeah, I loved it.
And he's great.
Yeah, I think that's probably my favourite Jackie Chan film that I've seen so far. You know, the police story is great, of course. I haven't seen all of those films. I'd have to go back to the Drunken Master movies too. But yeah, there's a great scene where he gets put inside this big bowl, and there's a big kind of smashing block that's coming down, and he has to kind of move out of the way. There's just enough room for him to kind of move out of the way of the thing that will just crush him to death. But he's running out of kind of energy as he's doing it, and then they start slicking oil around the edges so that he's kind of slipping down and stuff. And the way that he constructs gags, much like Buster Keaton, where there's an initial premise and then stuff keeps building onto it, and it gets even more stressful.
And he makes it last just long enough. If
yes.
it lasted too long there, I would have been like, okay, get on with it.
Timing is absolutely key, and he was clearly a master of that because he directed this film too. And as you can see in the outtakes at the end, he's clearly directing the other people through a lot of the action and things like that. But also, shout out to all the other stuntmen who are in the film, because they take some pretty hefty falls too. Just people flipping around and crazy stuff. So, I think it is a film you should see before you die. It's just so much fun. It's a great action film. And as I said, I
want to see the first one.
Yeah, I want to go back and see that and compare it, see if this one is more worthy than the first one of being in the book. I think in the article in the book it said that this is a case of it being bigger and better. So I'd be intrigued to see how they match up to each other. But yeah, I will say, I do think Jackie Chan's the best martial arts action star in movies ever. Bruce Lee was great. I feel like Bruce Lee was more of a martial artist, like a proper martial artist. Jackie Chan more of an entertainer, and a movie maker, a filmmaker. So there we go. Thank you for watching. And anything else you want to add?
No.
No? Okay. Connie's in a rush to leave. Can you tell? Yeah. So yeah, thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Okay, I gotta run.
Okay, so Connie had to run, clearly, and in editing the video I realised there were a few things I didn't mention, so I'm going to go solo for a couple more minutes here and just delve into a few more thoughts about this film. I really loved it, I really did, but there's a great scene when there's this big party going on, and Jackie Chan's character is going undercover. Well, he's not undercover actually, but he's all suited up and stuff, and there's a lot of people who are doing undercover things. There's a lot of groups and plot lines and so on and so forth, but he's sneaking through these rooms of this big elaborate manor, and he hides in the darkness when two of these characters walk past, and he hides by this painting. And with his kind of suit, he very much blends in with this painting, and it's a really funny reveal when you realise and notice that Jackie Chan is standing there pretending to be a part of this painting. So, it really is down to comedic timing too. It's not just about the fighting and, doing these big falls and stuff, as much as that's a part of it. It's these little gags that he weaves into the film as well, which again is very, to me, Buster Keaton-esque. I really do feel the influence of those silent comedians in Jackie Chan's work. And this guy's just such a lightning in a bottle kind of guy who just had such a dedication to his craft, and he was so incredible in his prime, because I mean this is a style that was never going to last. I mean he got injured on every film he made, absolutely put his body on the line and hurt himself big time in a lot of the films that he made. And age and just that amount of there's only so many bumps you can take before your body starts breaking down. So he again just absolutely dedications to the craft, dedications to the art, and even in other senses too, where there's a scene he's fighting some guys and he eats these spicy chilies and then kind of spits it out in his hands and puts it on their face to blind them. And they did that for real. And I said that to Connie, she's like, no. And I was like, well, do you really think he wouldn't do that? And she went, oh yeah, true, good point. Yes, it's Jackie fucking Chan. They were going to do some fake kind of chili stuff, but they couldn't produce it in time, so he just did it with the real deal. So, I mean, he's just absolutely off his head. but that stuff is immortalized in these just fantastic, entertaining, funny action movies. Just so brilliant, really, really great. And also just how he moves the camera with the fight sequences. You know, there are these big falls that the stuntmen take, that he take, and the camera has to move to catch that. If the camera misses that, that's a big fall to take without getting caught on camera. So they really have to be precise with a lot of that stuff. But also, he just shows you the action. These days, action is very much in shaky cam. You know, you can't really tell what's going on. The choreography gets hidden in this kind of muddled cinematography, but here the camera shows you everything. And when he cuts, which can be fast at times, he shows you what's going on. And he talks about this in some documentary I saw, or interview, whatever, how he edits his kind of action films in a way that isn't, you know, authentic to real life. There will be maybe, you know, a punch going like that, and when we cut to the next shot, you know, that the fist isn't moving in complete sync. Maybe it goes back a little bit, just so the audience has that kind of, even if it's a few frames, to fully see everything that's going on. And that really comes across. Some of the dialogue in the film is very rapid, and with the subtitles very quick. That was kind of hard to keep up with, but the action, it speaks for itself, and it is all there on screen, and so well put together, so well realized. And again, the creativity is just bursting out of this guy and his whole team, who put all the stunt sequences together. So there we go. Also, Maggie Cheung is in the film, who was in The Mood for Love, which we talked about earlier on in Asian Cinema Season, and this was going to be a part of a bigger kind of martial arts section of Asian Cinema Season 2017, but time just ran out, and so this is the one I thought, okay, which one do I want to see the most? It's the Jackie Chan one. So maybe Asian Cinema Season 2018, I can get to those martial arts movies that I wanted to review and talk about, but for now, we'll leave it there with Project A Part 2. Thank you for watching. Leave your thoughts down below on this film, any other Jackie Chan film. Leave some recommendations. I'd love to get into more of this kind of stuff. I really am a big fan of him, but I feel like I haven't seen nearly enough yet. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.